Good evening to you all around the world tonight. It's night here in Australia, and I'm actually going to tell you about my journey that I've had to help make a change in domestic violence space around our world, because we're in an epidemic at present of domestic violence. So many, young women of all ages and children are losing their life because of domestic violence. Here in Australia this year, we've already lost 18 women as I speak to you. And we've only had 15 weeks of the year, so it's more than one a week that we're losing here in Australia of domestic violence. Last year, we lost 24 children because of domestic violence impact as it goes down the line. And obviously, my journey started when I was affected by domestic violence, and I knew nothing about domestic violence growing up until the age of 37. Next slide, please. And I am a mum of 3 beautiful children, and their biological father and myself separated when my son Zach in the middle was only 2.5, 3 years old. There was no domestic violence at all in our relationship. We actually had too much money, and he wanted to take me away all the time, and let's go to Fiji, let's go to America, let's do this, let's do that. But the children weren't involved, and they've actually had a full-time nanny. And so we end up ending our relationship on an amicable basis, just to go so he could go his own way and have his fun with his money. But I just wanted to be a mum to my 3 beautiful children. And in this photo in front of you, Gabby is now with the blonde hair. She's now 26. Zach is 20, and Ashlyn's 22. And growing up with my children as my best friends, that they're more like my best friend than my children. And so, being that single mum and taking them everywhere to life, I didn't have a social life of my own, you could say. I did enjoy having a beer, but I never went to nightclubs or pubs or anything like that. And I got to the age of 37, and Gabby was 15 at this time. And I thought, maybe I am old enough now, the children are out of nappies and can look after themselves, etc., that I could have another partner in my life. And so I did go on the internet dating site, and scrolling through, the men on the dating site, a light bulb moment happened to me, and a real estate agent actually popped up. And I thought, oh, perfect. He's got to be okay because he's got a real estate license. He's had a police check because I'd been in real estate prior to children. So moving forward, I clicked on him and we started chatting through the site, and he, seemed okay. But I actually had to put my boundaries in and say, I can't chat to you till 9 o'clock at night because my children still came first, whether it's, homework and feeding them and just family time in general. So we would talk through the app at 9 o'clock at night. And then he said to me after a few weeks, could we please do it over a phone? And so we started, ringing each other, but still at 9 o'clock at night. And then eventually he said, can we go on a date? And it was, just amazing. I thought, wow, I haven't been on a date for so long. And I was a bit nervous because I didn't know who paid for the meal at the end and different things, but he paid, and I was very grateful for that and enjoyed my night. And moving forward, we did get into a relationship, but over a period of 9 months, little red flags grew, and they weren't red flags that you would think. It was only like deleting contacts out of my phone, in which I was grounding Zach for, because it never happened before. But I thought, well, Zach's deleting all my contacts out. But it happened 5 or 6 times. I thought, no, this is not right. There was something a bit fishy about that. And then money was going missing out of my wallet. But the real big change of me to end the relationship with him was he started sending me flowers, not just one bunch every couple of days. It was every day. And I just didn't sit well with me. I thought, oh, no, this is not too good. So on Saturday, the 23rd of September 2012, I actually rang a friend and I said, well, how do I get out of this relationship now that I'm in it? And she said, let's do it on Monday when the children go to school. And you know what? Her knowing that she knew as I was ending the relationship, that was really good for me because, otherwise, I didn't know what was going to happen next or anything, but I felt supported. So on the Monday, the 25th of September 2012, I dropped the children off at school and headed into work, and I had to catch a half-an-hour train in. And I thought to myself, how do I do this? Do I ring, text, or email? And I did do the gutless way, and I just sent him a text. And it was like, oh, yes, that feels so much better. So through the day, back then, you didn't have your mobile phone like you do today. And by lunchtime came and I checked my phone and there were like hundreds of messages and I didn't reply. By tea time, by the time I got home to get on the train at night time, there was lots more. I still didn't reply. And I got home at 6 o'clock and Zach was 10 at this time, at this stage of our life. And he was already at basketball training. And Gabby, being my best friend, she would always start to, cook dinner, etc. for me. And no, not yet. Go back. So, thank you. She would always start cooking dinner. And so at 6 o'clock, I walked in and I said to the girls at 6 o'clock, and I said, "Oh, how's your day?" And they said, "Oh, boring. We didn't do anything." And then 6:06, there was a knock at the front door. And I looked through the little glass window, and it was, I'm going to use the word perpetrator because you'll see in a minute why. And he, and me myself teaching the girls still life skills, I did go and open the door to him because I thought I've got to teach respect because that's what I was taught growing up. So I went to the door and he said, "Can we talk about this?" And I thought, no, to myself, I would because I hadn't spoken to him all day. And so he said, "Good, can we go into your bedroom?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I was in my corporate clothes still from work and walking in. I walked in first and he walked in following me behind me and he shut the door. And being that single mum, I never shut doors in our home because I like to listen to what the children are doing. And so my only real question that I can remember him saying to me is, "Why can't we work this out?" And I know I replied to him and said, "Look, I'll be honest." I said, I just want to be your friend. I can't give you 110% in our relationship. I said, "You deserve that." I said, "You know what, 3 kids, 2 jobs, life's just really busy." And obviously from that, he couldn't take no from an answer. And me walking in still in my high heels, and I ended up on the ground. And I don't know if you can see, but I've got a bit of tape here on my arm. And I had to put my arm up. And next minute, there was a baseball bat coming down on my head. And I know my arm was broken. He hit me 3 or 4 times. And I yelled to the girls, I said, "Girls, come here, Mummy needs your help." And Gabby looked at me and said, "Mummy, you can do anything. You can fix things in the car. You can fix things in the house, da, da, da." But you know what? Because my arm was broken, I tried to push off on it. But I actually thought I was going to die because I couldn't get up and move, past this big perpetrator. So I said to the girls, "Go out and get Mummy help." And they did. And they ran outside and got the neighbours' attention. But the neighbours thought that they were just playing games and not, there wasn't any domestic violence because there's never been any in our home before. And Gabby did ring the ambulance and they did hang up on her. But in the meantime, this is where my story does turn into a positive as well, but you will see some negatives still, that I've had a Samoan family one side of me and South African family the other side of me. And now in life, I honestly, I love every different nation across our world, because if it wasn't for those 2 different nationalities saving my life, I wouldn't be here today to talk to you at this conference, because we need to make a change around our world. And those 2 different nationalities saved my life. So I love everyone dearly. It doesn't matter whether we're black, white, what language we speak, where we're from or anything. We just need to work together in this domestic violence space. So the 2 big Samoans actually had to come in and get the perpetrator, and the South African lady actually knew to wrap dry towels around my head, in which, can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So you'll see that I've got a slide here. I might actually just go to the next slide if that's okay. We'll just leave that up for a little minute. Yeah, perfect. So you'll see this slide here. So from 6:06 to 6:16, I've actually endured 45 to 50 hits to the right side of my face, hence why I do look a little bit strange, not like all you pretty women that are online, and I will never look any better than this. But you can see how I've ended up there. So I've got 45 to 50 hits to the right side of my face with a baseball bat. So I've actually lost my eyesight here. I've lost my sense of smell. This whole side is now titanium plated with an implant here. And all my jawline was all smashed in. We'll go back to that slide prior, if that's okay, to get that off the screen. Can we go back to the slide prior, please? No, go backwards. Other way. No, other way. No, other way. Sorry. No, other way. Kick it backwards. Perfect, yes. So from that slide that you just seen prior, I have had 52 operations as I speak to you today. And you could see here in front of me that in yourself that I've got a smile on my face. And this was actually a 16-hour operation because I had to have a section of my skull removed for 6 months before they had to could put it back in. But not knowing how I actually looked, I actually felt like a princess in that photo because a nurse happily asked if I wanted my hair washed and braided. And do you know what? Yes, I thought I was a queen. And the smile on my face just says it all. And little, did I know, that how looking, but I also had a drip in my foot on this this day as well. But, moving forward, yes, we are 10 years down the track, but my life has changed forever now that I do have to have treatment every 7 to 10 days. But in saying that, with this smile here, I've got the never give up attitude, hence why, I'm speaking here today for you to help jump on board, not only to help me, but let's help our next generations, coming through, because we've all got nieces and daughters and, aunties and nanas and mums and different things. And I don't want domestic violence to happen to everyone. So me waking up each day, I do say 3 things to myself, and that's never give up, staying positive and keep smiling. And those 3 things are free. And if we can all take that outlook in life, we're going to, stamp out this this domestic violence, situation that's happening. So I've had to start from basically birth again when I did eventually wake up many months later, in which when the night this first happened, my children did have to come and say goodbye to me the first night because they honestly didn't think I was going to make it. And then the second night, they gave me 3 to 5% chance of making it. And that does bring illness, gut feeling to me because my middle daughter actually had to come and say goodbye to me on her birthday. And that was, something that she's had to live with too. So it's not just me going through this, and this is my message, it's that ripple effect that we need to just, help and not do this. So moving forward again, if we go back to the, go forward 2 slides, please. Next one. Thank you. Yep. So this side here, no, go back one. This side here, you'll see that is my skull, and it's shattered. And this is where now I just yes, it's not nice, but it gives me the power that I want to be a part of everyone to make this change, and I suppose do whatever I can just to help that next person, because this photo here is my skull where I, as I said, have got 45 to 50 hits with the baseball bat. But do you know what? In learning this, I've been able now to help the ambulance officers and things with their research as such. And they've put a positive spin on this for me, that if I only got 5 to 10 hits to my skull, I would either be a vegetable or I wouldn't be here today talking to you. But because I did get so many, my skull is actually shattered, as you can see. And I'm no doctor or no surgeon or anything, but I've learned so much about our amazing body that because my skull was shattered, and any brain injury, your brain swells. My brain was swelling and my skull was moving at the same time, hence why I looked so swollen in the photo earlier. But in saying that, that's where the ladies, the South African lady that came in to save my life, she actually knew, working in pathology, she actually knew to wrap dry towels around my head to save my life, because if they'd been wet, she would have killed me instantly. But she's also been able to fulfill a lot of holes for me. And yes, I was still talking at the scene, and the ambulance say I was in excruciating pain. But one thing I can help now, because I've survived this horrific attack, is that the medication that they did give me at the scene, I don't actually have any memory or flashbacks or nightmares of being hit in the face with the baseball bat. So at least I'm able to give evidence back that, yes, the drugs that they are working to save people's lives, and to block out that background, what has happened does actually work. So, it's a win-win for me in many directions. And as you can see, yes, I've had to, tread on stones in different areas of my life. And, I couldn't even know how to do a bra up, let alone my jaw was only able to open 2 mil, which couldn't even fit a skinny McDonald's chip in, and we all know how skinny that they are. So having to look at my diet now for the rest of my life. Yes, I can't have, a sandwich or a hamburger or different things like that. But my main goal was, and it's something so simple, all I wanted to do was to be able to eat a little lolly because I love lollies, and I've been able to do that. I'll never have the same jawline as you amazing women, but I can eat now and I can speak, and that's where I've got my voice now, that I want to help everyone that is going through domestic violence, or if someone is going through mental depression at the same time, that's all affiliated to domestic violence. I want to be able to be there and help them in any direction I can. Next slide, please. Thank you. So this is such an important topic here, is red flags, and this is where I really want you to hone in and listen to anyone that you think may be into a domestic violence situation and they're too scared to talk about, because my emphasis on this is any little red flag can turn into a big red flag. And as I said to you, my red flags, deleting contacts out of my phone, stealing money, sending flowers. Who would have thought I would have ended up like that? He was even a gentle giant that would open the car doors for me and the children. He didn't even say the word SHIT in front of myself or the children. He had, his respect level was really good. But in getting to know him, he said that he hadn't been married and no children. And, I actually believed him because he'd been in real estate, and myself being in real estate, I knew it was a 7 days a week job and you're on the phone, 24 hours a day. You have to have access to it. So I believed him. But you know what? 2.5 years until after the trial, because I mentally wasn't well enough, stable enough to give evidence for the trial. And once the trial did finish and he was sentenced and his face went around Australia, 2 wives actually came forward. He actually assaulted both of them and had 3 children. He actually assaulted the second wife's parents as well. So I shouldn't be here speaking to you about domestic violence today if the first wife had actually spoken up. So that's another important message I do want to put it out there, is let's report everything possible to do with domestic violence, because I don't want my children or grandchildren being affected by domestic violence when it could have been stopped. And when they get in relationships or, have their own children and different things. And I'm sure that whoever's listening here tonight will absolutely say the same thing, that they want to protect their next generations coming through. So speaking up and reporting is so important, but looking out for any little red flag, because it can turn into a big red flag really, really quickly. So if we can all look out for each other and be that nagging mum like myself and just say, check in on someone. Are you okay? Is everything okay? And not just, once or twice. If you have got that gut feeling, go in, be that nagging mum and wear that hat proud and check in again, because you could be saving he or she lives. And the only reason that I'm speaking about women and domestic violence is because of the stats, is where we need to protect women. But you know what? Absolutely, I'm protecting men as well, because men do get killed and have, evidence on them on domestic violence as well. So the importance on any little red flag, because it can turn into a big red flag, and let's look out for each other on that. I can't emphasize that enough, on how important they are. And they're just some of my red flags. Everyone can have different red flags, but they're important red flags to whatever they are, down to whatever, it could be what you're wearing or who you're talking to and all different things. So any little red flag's a big red flag. Next slide, please. Thank you. And the heading here, my TMR, my family, and this is, we're all in a workplace area. We're all talking, in whether it's at corporate level, groups or anything in this conference, or whoever is listening else online. We're a family when we're at work. And if it wasn't for Transport and Maid Roads, and you can see myself in the middle there, I was actually let out of rehab to come to this function, because I actually did a dinner as I wasn't meant to survive, and they did a dinner raising $45,000 to help the children if I did die. But their support, even as I speak to you today, they still check in on me every day, or every second day, if not, And they also have kept the door open for me to go back and to actually, if I want to get my brain back to where I was, to be at that point that I can, got back to where I was, 10 years ago after my brain injury. So the support network in domestic violence is very important, that you're checking in and you're being there for support so that they don't go back into a depression mode, etc. And that's just how, the support, your family, getting around you to beat what is actually happening. Next slide, please. Obviously, this is just my contact details. If anyone ever wants to get in contact with or talk about it or whatever. But I suppose that for me, making a change in the domestic violence space is what I want to do, not just for here in Australia, but for the whole world. Hence why I'm online tonight to speak to you all. And I just want to say thank you for listening, and enjoy the night ahead. And if there's any questions, happy to answer any.
I think everybody got inspired, and I think it's a fabulous talk, quite wonderful and a great history. And I would like to call the rest of the speakers for any questions we have. I think the comments itself are stating the amazing comments, right?
Thank you. They are.
Yeah, truly inspirational. Now,
thank you.
Just a second. Any questions still? Okay. So thank you. And this is Simone O'Brien's acknowledgement. Thank you so much.